You know, with like the Walking Dead, you deal with a lot of themes of like hope and like hopeless situations.
Sure.
What kind of themes will readers expect in Oblivion Song?
Well, I think that I like to say this is an apocalypse-adjacent story. You know, there's very much apocalyptic themes that are present here. You know, the dimension of Oblivion that people have been living in for 10 years. You know, it's you know, somewhat similar to The Walking Dead in that they've had to survive without resources and kind of discover a new way of life. But we're very much coming into their space after they've already established that, and so it's much different in that they've already put the processes together, and we're not watching that struggle over time. But you know, as far as themes go, I mean, it's not you know, it's not as dire, I think, as The Walking Dead is. I think it's a very uplifting story to a certain extent because we're focusing on one guy who's unwilling to give up on these people, who's, you know, continuing to champion their cause, despite the fact that the population at large has kind of abandoned them to a certain extent. And I think that that's somewhat more hopeful than, you know, say something like Walking Dead.
Okay. What are the challenges of upping the ante in the Walking Dead TV series? Like, do you have issues like trying to top yourself each season with it?
Well, I mean, the comic book series, I think, is a real big help for us in that respect because as we're upping the ante on the television show, we know the next like 4 or 5 different levels that we can go to with the comic book series. So we kind of have a roadmap to a certain extent, mapping out the jumps and the things that we can do to keep people interested. Anytime you set out to tell a story over the course of many, many years, you have to have things built in that are going to escalate things so that the audience can remain invested. And I think that that's something that's been very much a part of the process of doing the comic book series, and I think that that's helping, you know, the longevity of the show.
How have you seen new technologies like virtual reality and augmented reality open up new opportunities for the Walking Dead franchise across gaming and storytelling in general?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes with VR and AR. I think it's public that we've partnered with Skydance to work on a VR game for The Walking Dead. And I think there's just a tremendous opportunity there because I think The Walking Dead is successful because it is so personal to people. I think that the core of the story being about how someone survives in the apocalypse, how they deal with, you know, the loss of family members and how personal things are for the characters, and VR being a medium that puts you at the center of the story, I think lends itself very well. So we're going to be able to explore a lot of themes in The Walking Dead because of that, and I think, you know, break some new ground and do some cool different things with VR because of that.
The comics kind of have that reputation of being like a kid's medium and whatnot, but you are one of the few writers that have proved otherwise. What do you do to help create your stories and worlds to be more mature, and how does Oblivion Song wrap into that?
Well, I mean, I think that comic books are a medium just like anything else. I mean, you can do material that's explicitly for children, you can do you know, material that's explicitly for all ages, and you can do things that are more mature. It's just a storytelling medium more than anything else, and so it's up to the creator to you know, treat the medium with respect and really dig into the character and the nuance of things and you know, tell the stories that they want to tell. So, you know, I don't think there's any like special trick to making a comic book appeal to an adult reader. I think if anything, the industry as it is right now has overcorrected since the 80s to try and prove that it's not a medium for children, that now we found ourselves in a place where the majority of our readership is adult, and we're kind of like striving to get back to being able to sell comics to kids, which is something that's very important for the medium. And so, you know, we're at an interesting place, comics. So yeah.
Do you think that's an issue, that like it's more adult-oriented now?
I think now, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, if you look at the sales charts, the majority of what's successful in comics, you know, does appeal to a mature audience. And, you know, for the future of every medium, you need to be appealing to a younger generation so that you can continue to funnel in new readers that, you know, love experiencing that medium and want to continue experiencing it for years to come. So, you know, I'm not going to preach doom and gloom or anything like that, but you know, it is something that we'll need to address moving forward as an industry.